Today on an all-new Dr. Phil, from nurse's aide to living in her car.
I didn't put myself in this position. You quit your job, then you get evicted. I didn't get evicted.
She thinks there's a conspiracy.
Everybody was starting to act weird. A lady at the rent-a-car, people in my community.
What's the common denominator?
I'm not good at fractions.
My blood is on your hands.
That's when I was angry.
Yeah, and you get angry a lot.
Oh, stick around. That's nothing.
You've just met him 15 seconds ago, and you're starting to fight with him. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Now, Tina was a single mom struggling to raise her children the best that she could. Everyone was so proud when she managed to get a job at a prestigious hospital on Long Island as a certified nursing assistant. But just last year, she just quit this job and has been living like this in her car. Now, her daughter Vanessa wrote to me very concerned because she claims Tina's on a downward spiral. She says she's driving recklessly. When the police stop her, she just yells at them. They give her a ticket, she throws it back at them through the window. Now, her son Elmer says Tina is rooted in the idea that other people are responsible for her sudden downfall. So my question is, what's really going on? You be the judge. Take a look.
My mother has definitely spiraled out of control in the last year.
She went to school to be a nurse assistant. She got a great job at a great hospital, and then suddenly she quit her job. She left her apartment. That's when everything started escalating.
She's been living in her car for over a year now.
It's gonna be a year now I'm sleeping in this car. You all know I have nowhere to live. My blood, is on your hands and everybody else's around here.
Growing up, she was a great mom. She took care of us. She provided for us. This is not the mom that I grew up with.
She's hostile, she's aggressive, she doesn't care what other people think.
This is all garbage. You understand that? The nerve of you.
She's driving recklessly.
The car could blow up. I don't give a
She's fighting with the cops. She got into a fight with a man at a storage unit.
She's extremely argumentative, extremely combative.
No, wrong. Yeah, I can. Well, I'm doing it now.
She lost a bunch of her friends, and she lost a lot of her family members. I think she's definitely suffering from psychological disorder.
You have a mental illness.
Okay, first of all, I don't, you stupid.
She's extremely paranoid, she has delusions, she has conspiracies. Not only does she think people are following her, she thought there was cameras in her apartment. She thinks we're all just partaking in this game to ruin her life.
What are you a part of? You are, because I'm living in my car, nobody's cooperating.
Control of her cell phone. Got to be mental illness. She doesn't do drugs. She doesn't really drink except for like on occasion or a special. So I'm not sure why, like what is triggering her to snap like she does. I don't know why she's lashing out. I don't.
Okay, but can we, I'm trying to get a baseline here. So, Elmer, this is incongruent with the way she's been most of her life, correct?
Correct, yeah. She's always been eccentric and a big personality. And the weird thing is this manifested at the height of her independence. So she finally did the big change at 59, 58. You know, she's 6 years old, she's a CNA, she's got a great job, she's proud, she's happy, and then...
Okay, was there any trigger that you can think of?
I think this young guy that she's dating made her think that she's 20 again. All of a sudden, she lost a lot of weight. What men do is they play with women's heads, and she's 60 and the guy's 28, you know?
Why was he wanting to date someone, go with someone twice his age?
That's what I want to know.
I mean, I think there's an appeal. The fact that she's a mom and she has that, these problems aside, she has that endearing motherly knowledge and wisdom for a young guy. It could be enticing that, you know, she's comforting and there's that wisdom and life advice. And then on the flip side, he's got the youth.
She's homeless. What the hell is he doing?
Right.
But this is not the mother you grew up with.
No.
Because when we see the before and after, I mean, she looks like a very competent, you know, happy woman, at least in that picture. She looks like she's in her element. She looks like she's in her job and she's doing well. Why is it hard to look at that?
Look at it. You tell me. She's happy there and she's miserable there. And look at her face. Like, she aged like 20 years in a matter of like 3 years.
And it's not just an emotion in that picture. There's a lost.
I never even saw that picture.
There's a detached aspect of, you know what I mean? That it's.
Well, let me tell you some of the things that she has said, because she is very angry. She says that this has been done to her. That this isn't just something that happened, it's been done to her by the people that she trusted, have turned their backs on her, that she is in this position because of what's been done.
Right.
She plays the victim. And, you know, here's what she says. She says that she had vertigo from visiting you, that she's used up all the time, all of her sick time, so she left her job. That people's attitudes around her are changing. She said this all of a sudden, people started changing around her. She could feel people starting to talk about her behind her back and conspire against her. That no one's meeting her halfway. She said nobody listens. She said she wouldn't treat people in her life the way they're treating her. And she's talking about you guys that way.
Right.
So she definitely has the victim hat on, that this is being done to her. That she was doing fine, and then she became an object of attack.
Right. Which is how we know it's tied to some mental illness. She thinks there's a conspiracy. She thinks there's either a government body or not a company, but she thinks there's a group of people that are formulating an attack. You know, if a car pulls up to her and they're super close, she thinks we sent the car, just like being on the show. I think she thinks that she's going to come on and you're going to tell her who's doing this to her.
Why do you think she agreed to come here?
Because she's on vacation. She doesn't even believe she's going to see you. She starts, like, laughing, like, oh, my God, am I really going to see Dr. Phil? Like, this is not a joke. Like, my life is torture because of her every day. Like, she just harasses me. This is not fun.
I don't think it's so much the vacation because, you know, like when we got on our first plane, it was delayed, and she made a big scene on the plane and in the airport. And I found out because she thought that it was just a ruse, that we would take her that far to convince her we were going on Dr. Phil, and then the plane's gonna, you know, be delayed, and we're gonna end up going back home. So, you know, so I don't think it's so much the vacation. She didn't know she was gonna really be here until she really landed, and then she didn't know we had a hotel room until she really got in the hotel room. You know, she continues to sort of come to the realization that this is true. My opinion is it's you. You know, so when I was a kid and you were first on Oprah, she fell in love with you day one. Right. You know, she
Well, of course.
Right.
But you think there is part of her that may want to hear what I have to say?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, coming up, Vanessa says that her mom can say horrible things and has no filter. So how is she going to talk to me when she comes out here? Well, we're going to find out because she's going to join us right after the break.
I've been homeless for about 14 months now. I feel like something's out to get me. There's a dining room because I eat in my car. On the door right there, that's my library. So I've got the bedroom dresser. The whole thing is just so horrendously disgusting. The biggest craziness here? Down. Like 1 minute I'm a nurse aide at the hospital, and the next minute I'm in my car. I've been homeless for about 14 months now. I feel like something's out to get me. I don't know. I feel like everybody's weird. I know everybody's weird. People are lying to me without a doubt. I feel like people are following me. I feel like people know things I do. Well, living in my car, you drive a lot. You have to drive to brush your teeth. You have to drive to go to use the bathroom. This is the trunk, and this is where I would keep my clothes and my toiletries. So how I would sleep is I'd always put the seat back. The steering wheel I'd put up as much as I could. In winter months is what you got to worry about. I have 4 blankets on me. I have slippers that I wear. This is like my bedroom dresser, and there's a dining room because I eat in my car, so that's the dining room. And the door right there, that's my library. I've been reading a lot. So I've got a living room, a dining room, and the bedroom dresser. The only thing that I don't have, my bathroom. And I even contemplated getting like bedpan. So it's like the whole thing is just so horrendously disgusting. I'm not homeless because I put myself there. I'm homeless because this has been given to me. That's what my anger is. So this is where I slept the first few nights that I was homeless, outside the complex of where I used to live. And I don't have that anymore, so that's difficult to deal with. So I tried to stay with my daughter Vanessa in Florida. She said no. It's crushing, but to know that my daughters didn't want to help me, and my youngest son is the only one that's like by my side, but like even some of his beliefs are off.
You chose to leave, whether you were sick or not, you chose to leave your job.
I chose to leave my job.
You chose to leave the apartment.
This is the hospital where I used to work at. Actually, I was hospitalized here, and I was there for 2 weeks. Ironically, 2 floors away from the floor that I worked at. They felt that I needed to be evaluated because I was lashing out and I was angry at the things and the frustration that I've been going through in the last year. When I walked to my room, I saw there were straps on the bed. I was like, this is insane. I'm not voluntarily poisoning myself because I don't need this stuff. I was diagnosed with bipolar, pure. Then after 2 weeks, I got released and went back into the vehicle. And I'm not on medication now because they were only able to force me to take the medication while I was in house.
So you have an issue with the fact that doctors agree with the idea that you need to have medication, and you for some reason just believe you know that you don't.
Correct.
That's an issue.
Correct.
That's an issue.
Okay. I want to know why this is happening to me. And I want my apartment back. I can't have those things back without all these questions answered.
Well, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. How you feel about being here?
Surreal.
Yeah?
Surreal, yeah.
You weren't sure this was for real, right?
Without a doubt, I wasn't thinking this was for real.
Yeah? What do you think now?
It's for real.
Yeah? You seem like a really nice person that's having a really rough time right now.
Oh, without a doubt, rough time.
And you said you didn't choose this, it was given to you.
Correct.
Who gave it to you?
That's the whole, I have no idea. I have no idea.
How do you know it was given to you then?
Because I didn't put myself in this position. I didn't put myself in this position.
Well, then who did?
I have no idea. That's the whole big secret here. I have no idea. Doesn't that sound crazy?
No, but it doesn't sound logical either.
Everybody started acting strange prior to me leaving. Like nurses would say things they normally wouldn't say. I worked on the awesomest floor with the most professional people. And especially when I came back from visiting my son in July of 2018, I've got nurses saying to me, you know, certain things that I don't even want to repeat on camera, like, and I'm floored by that, but like, you know, as I'm working, I just blew it off, and I'm like, maybe she's having a bad day that she would say something like that. And I'm like, you know, this was happening. Now, did that make me resign? No. What happened also was I had a bout with vertigo. When I was visiting my son here, my last day here, I had gotten up to get ready to fly back to New York, and I had this bout with vertigo. So now that's frustrating because it left me with dizziness. Prior to that, they moved in a girl upstairs for me. I mean, when I tell you, Dr. Phil, you're living in an apartment, so you have to deal with noise, but this was ridiculous. This was like abuse. I'm not that type of person that's gonna call the police because there's noise upstairs.
Okay, well, let me be sure I got this.
Yeah.
So, all of a sudden, people just started changing at work.
Yeah.
Okay? And then all of a sudden, people started changing at the apartment, getting really obnoxiously loud.
Yeah.
And noisy.
Right.
And then they started acting funny.
They started acting funny. Everybody started, everybody in my world, everybody, the lady at the rent-a-car, people in my community, just everybody was starting to act weird. And I know this sounds crazy, but I'm just keeping it real.
Let's say that I come over here and talk to her and things are really weird.
Yeah.
Okay? So I come over here and I go to the store and talk to people here and things are really weird.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I come over here and I go, are really weird. Okay, so then I come over here and I go to my job and these people are really weird. Weirdness everywhere I go.
I'm not.
This idea that you know all and it's a fact.
What are you talking about? I don't walk around like I know all. I know me. I know me. I know what's happened to me, and that's it.
3, 2, 1, effect.
41.
I've washed my hands of my mother because she doesn't respect me. She doesn't have anything decent to talk about. She's nosy. I have blocked my mother on social media. I've blocked her in my cell phone as well. My mother is a stranger on the street to me.
Vanessa's never been one to go out of her way to rise above her own feelings or emotions. I'm 100% the one that's helping her the most out of my siblings. It is a huge burden for the baby of the family. It's terrible.
Okay, I'm here with Tina and two of her children, Vanessa and Elmer, and I've just been talking to your mother about the fact that I think she may be bringing some of this with her and creating some of the things that she's experiencing. What are you thinking about the conversation that I'm having with your mother?
She's just she knows that she's the problem. She knows it. You quit your job, then you get evicted because you don't pay your rent because you decided to come to California to see your kid. Okay, now you didn't get evicted. Yeah, you did get evicted. They kicked you out because you didn't pay your rent. What are you talking about?
I didn't get evicted.
So you just said, see you later? I mean, really?
It's just like when you
Go
got
ahead.
fired from work, though.
Wait a minute.
They sent you home and they said, you're not welcome here anymore. And you said, well, they didn't say the F word, so I wasn't fired.
Like-
It's a technicality, you know what I mean? If
I
you're...
didn't get evicted. No, evicted is evicted. But go ahead, finish what you're saying.
So you quit your job. It's a downfall now. You quit your job, you lost your place, you live in your car, you're in denial that you're homeless because you got a car. You're messing with a young dude that doesn't do a damn thing for you.
Oh my God.
Look
All
at
right,
you.
Good.
Right, like
What do you mean, look at
everything's
me?
a joke. You're
First
like,
of all,
like
first
it's a
of all,
joke.
first of all, I'm not, okay, what are you talking about? I'm not in denial. I know I'm living in my car, but I'm not living in my car now. I'm in a shelter, or whatever you want to call it. But,
You're homeless.
but what happened was I went ahead and I quit my job. I know I submitted that, and I take responsibility for that. What happened was I moved out of my apartment complex. They didn't kick me out. That's why I gave in the keys the way I did. I didn't pay rent for 2 months there, so I wasn't going to let another month go by. So I didn't get evicted, because evicted would have meant that they would have, you know, they did send me a letter to go to court, and I didn't go to court that day that I was sick. But ultimately, I moved out before they evicted me.
You did that, and so you wind up living out of your car. When you wind up living out of your car, now you're not sleeping well, everything starts to snowball.
Oh, yeah, that's just to say the least.
Let me tell you, if I wanted to drive someone insane and I could control one thing, it would be sleep deprivation.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
And you start seeing the world in a different way. Come on, you're trained in this field. You have to know that you're setting yourself up to see the world as a hurtful place.
Well, see, and that's what I fought too, though, is because I don't want, you know what I mean? You're fighting, you know, to remain the true person that you are. I mean, I'm not one that I don't want to be bitter. So
Are you?
No, I'm not
Are
bitter.
you angry?
Oh, angry? Yeah, of the position I'm in, anger and rage. That's the two emotions that I can explain, that I can tell you that I will admit that I am since I've been living in my car. Everything that I was working for was just taken away from me. You know what I mean? And by who, I don't know, because I'm just saying, I want to know why nurses started behaving in the manner they behaved, and why friends started behaving in the manner.
Is it possible that you started perceiving them differently? That they didn't start behaving differently, you started perceiving them differently?
No, I didn't perceive
Because here's my point. You're just not that important.
Okay.
For there to be this big conspiracy where everybody
and
at
I've said that to
work and
myself, too. Thank you.
It's just really, you're just not
Thank
that
you.
important.
And please, I don't want to be important. If that's what important means, I don't want to be important, because I've said that to myself too. I've actually, when I've had my meltdowns, I'm like, why me? Why is this happening to me? Like, why would anybody want to do anything solely to me? So it sounds crazy, but I'm just telling you for real what has happened in my life. I can't explain it to you.
No, but you can't explain it to me because it doesn't make sense. You're perceiving it one way, but the point is, you have to consider all possibilities.
All right, what are the possibilities?
And the possibilities, one, is that there is a far-reaching conspiracy to sabotage your life.
Right, which that's scary.
Another possibility is that you've been hurt, that you've changed emotionally, so you start seeing things through a different filter, and you start interpreting behavior as threatening, as weird, when in fact they're not any different than they were before, but because you're wounded, because you're hurt, you start seeing them differently. It's kind of like, you know what it's like to get a really bad sunburn?
Yeah.
If you don't have a sunburn, somebody can come pat you on the shoulder and say, hey, how's it going? Oh, fine.
Right.
If you got a really bad sunburn, somebody can just come and tap you, whoa,
Right.
and you just like that really hurts because you're hypersensitive.
Right.
Every little thing triggers something in you and you have a reaction to it. Is that possible?
That's possible, but that's not what it is. No.
Okay,
But
which
I
is
don't think-
most a different filter?
That's tough, Dr. Phil, but I would like to go with the seeing things through a different filter thing, because the conspiracy thing would be, I'm not that important.
Children, dream scenario for your mother. What do you want for her?
I want her to get a job. I want her to love herself because she has low self-esteem. I want her to be able to be a grandma and continue to read to my son. That's their little thing that they do. Go, be single, have fun, travel. You have nothing to worry about.
You don't even know who I am.
And that's cool. I don't need to anymore. I'm not interested.
What do you mean you don't even, do you hear what you're saying? That's
yeah,
what I'm
not
saying,
interested.
but I mean,
I
that's
said I
some
washed
of
my
yours.
hands, right? I washed them.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I
for
love
what?
you
There's
from
no
a distance.
reason-
I wish you all well. Everybody in the family.
Thank you.
But I have my peace. I love my peace. Me and
Go
my
take
son.
it. That's good. And I leave you alone with your peace. This last year
Not
has been
really.
horrendous. I've talked to you 2 times in the last year, and it's been horrendous. But you know what? I leave you alone because if that's what you want, that's what you want. My kids are not in my life. I leave them alone. I'm not that hounding parent. But I mean, like, so I sit there and I go, guess what? If my daughter doesn't want me in her life, that's how it's going to be. How
What do you
horrendous
want
is
for
that?
your mother?
Acceptance. I mean, you have to learn to accept truth. You
Okay.
have this idea that you know all, and it's a fact.
I'm the last person that knows all. What are you talking about? I don't walk around like I know all. I know me. I know me. I know what's happened to me, and that's it. I'm not bipolar. You know, doctor, okay, you have to spend a long time with me to diagnose me with bipolar or anybody else. You can't diagnose somebody within 10 minutes that they're bipolar. So I'm not going to accept that, if that's what you're talking about. I'm not going to accept that I'm bipolar. No one has spent enough time with me to diagnose me with bipolar.
You don't need to accept one label.
So what accept are you talking about?
Please allow me to speak. You don't need to accept the one label that you have this. But
Yeah.
You need to accept that, obviously, like when Dr. Phil's talking about you go 4 different places and
Yeah.
you bring that.
44.
You need. But that's what I'm saying. You're answering back in the idea that not only 4, but it could be so much more, and you're still right.
Correct.
So that's when we say that you think you know it all.
No, I just know me. I know me, and I know what's happened in my life. That doesn't mean I know it all. I don't know who climbed Mount Everest yesterday. That's know-it-all. I don't know those things, nor do I want to know those things. But I'm just saying, I've had pain in my life. You know what I do with it? I deal with it. I'm not going to let that change the lens and look out at the world differently. I'm blessed to have 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 4 beautiful children, 3 grandchildren. There's so many things I'm blessed with in life. I'm living in my car. There's people living on the street. Thank God I have a car to live in.
But where is
you
this
understand? See how I look at it? I look at it positively.
Where is this attitude day to day?
What do you mean?
On the show,
Where are you day to day? You're not sitting next to me in the front seat day to day. You're not sleeping next to me in 4-degree weather day to day. So what do you mean? You're my child, but that doesn't mean put down the hands. Listen, I sent you to theater school, okay? You're not doing very well right now because this is a lie. I'm telling you right now, this is a lie. You want to know the biggest craziness here?
Right, yeah.
That I go down to Florida and my daughters don't let me stay with them. To have my children, and I'm not one that wants my children to take care of me, but I'm saying, though, if it's between sleeping in my daughter's sofa in her apartment or in my car, I'd like to sleep on her sofa. What I'm saying is, how do they let me sleep behind a Winn-Dixie in Florida? That's the biggest question right there.
Well, there might be a reason for that. And let's take a listen to some of your interaction patterns.
All right, I hate these tapes.
It's gonna be a year now I'm sleeping in this car. You all know I have nowhere to live. My blood, you is on your hands and everybody else's.
Oh, when was that taped? All right. Yeah, because it's true. That's when I was angry.
Yeah, and you get angry a lot.
In the last year, let's just say.
Yeah, okay.
Or 14 months, yeah.
And let me tell you, the things that we bleeped there were seriously bleeped.
Oh, stick around. That's nothing when I get angry, especially with what I've gone through. I'm just being honest with you.
But you do understand what I'm saying about you're the common denominator. You're the one that shows up where all of the conflict takes place. You get a speeding ticket and throw it at the cop out the window?
No, I didn't throw it out the... What are you talking about? I got the tickets. How did I throw it out the window? I didn't throw the ticket out the window. That's what I'm saying. You see, how do you compete with a liar or lies? Because I didn't throw the ticket out the window. I got all the tickets organized nicely in my folder.
Are they not crumpled? They have the folder.
Okay.
The tickets are crumpled.
Okay, well, guess what? The one was crumbled, and then I almost ironed it out. But when did I ever throw? I never, ever threw it out.
You see how you start to backtrack? Oh, I've got it all perfect, and it's all filed nicely.
It is perfect, and it is filed nicely.
And then now it's crumpled because you threw it at the
You
top.
can have a crumpled paper filed nicely.
Okay.
You've got over $1,000 in tickets, right?
Want to be exact? 1,040.
You're supposed to go to court this week.
I don't plan. I was supposed to go Monday. Yeah, well, let me tell you. If it's going to court on Monday or seeing Dr. Phil, Dr. Phil.
They pull you over with $1,000 in tickets outstanding, you're going in. You will have a place to stay then.
No, I'm not going in. I'm going back. When I go back, I'm going to go. See, I even know the terminology now. I'm going to go put myself back on the calendar if I have to, or I'm just going to walk in and go to the. paid my storage, paid my shelter expense, and paid my credit card. 4 bills paid on a $12 an hour job.
Coming up, Tina's lifelong friend says she believes her apartment is bugged. We're going to
This is what I've asked myself for the whole last 14 months. Yeah.
and the most likely answer is they wouldn't.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Well, I just can't believe that my lens would be that messed up that I would start thinking of all these scenarios.
What if I'm right? What if you are distorting reality? What if, without realizing it, you are misperceiving his intention, her intention, Joe's intention, people's at work's intention? What if you really have slipped a filter over your eyes and don't realize it, and it's causing you to see things in a way that is not representative of the world, and there is a way to take that filter off where you went, oh, never mind. What if that's possible? Would you want to know that?
100%.
Yeah. Well, I want to introduce somebody, and that's Dr. Charles Sophie. Now, Dr. Charles Sophie is a colleague of mine. He's a board-certified psychiatrist. He has 3 clinical specialties. He's the medical director of the Department of Child and Family Services for Los Angeles, the largest agency like that in the country. And he works with me a lot. It works with us a lot here. Dr. Sophie, would you join us up here, please? Please welcome Dr. Charles Sophie. Dr. Sophie, please meet Tina and Elmer and Vanessa.
Hello, how are you?
Now, Dr. Sophie, I don't know whether this is a mental illness. I don't know if it's a neurological impairment. Right. I don't know if it's biochemical, purely psychological. I don't know what it is at this point. Right. But it is distinctly possible that since she has been through emotional trauma, since she has lost a job, an apartment, and living in her car, and has disrupted things, particularly at her age, that she could be misperceiving and distorting reality. True or false?
100% true. 100% true, because stress is what drives the chemicals in your brain. Okay. And then when you're under a lot of stress, your chemicals are going to shift, not be where they need to be, and you're going to misperceive, and your lens is now changed. You have to be open to that.
I am open to that. I just said anything's possible. So that's, when I say anything's possible, that's being open to it, right?
I guess.
There you go. So I'm open to it.
You're open.
There you go. So I'm open to it. That's
okay,
not the case,
hang on just a second. Hang on just a second. You just met him 15 seconds ago, and you're starting to fight with him.
Right.
That's not a fight.
That's not
I'm not. What? That's a fight.
Yeah. That's a New York hug.
Yeah. There you go. See?
Yeah.
That's not a fight. I'm just.
It's a little combative.
Yeah.
Oh, well, whatever. If that's what you consider combative, I'll show you combative.
Elmer and Vanessa worry that their mother has been putting on an act for me today. I think there's a lot more going on with Tina than that, and I'm going to tell her what she needs to do to turn her life around when we come back.
I sure hope Dr. Phil can get through to my mom. She's always loved him, trusted him, and idolized him. My biggest fear is that she is going to push past the point where she hurts herself, she accidentally hurts someone else. I really hope Dr. Phil can get through to her.
I would love help from Dr. Phil, without a doubt. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
Think about this. If I was home in bed in the middle of the night, the phone rang, and I picked it up, and somebody said, "Can you help me? I'm lost. I'm trying to get to 3rd and Elm Street. Can you give me directions?" What do you think the first question I would ask him would be?
Where are you?
Exactly. Where are you? And that's what I responsibly need to know about you. I need to know where you are.
Okay.
So the first thing that has to happen, in my opinion, is we have to do a thorough evaluation of you. Medically, psychologically, biochemically, hormonally, every possible way to see where you are. If something has spun out of control, if something has spun out of balance, we need to know what it is. And if we know what it is, then we can deal with that, and maybe that rights the ship, and you go, wow, the world looks a whole lot different to me. I'm going to put my scrubs back on. I'm going to get back into the workforce. I'm going to get busy living my life and being happy. I don't need to be angry anymore. I would like to know that. Wouldn't you?
Yes.
And Dr. Sophie, that's what you and I talked about.
Exactly,
We
yes.
need to evaluate, we need to do like,
Right.
we need to look at her hormonally, biochemically.
Physically,
we need to do all of
everything,
those
yes.
things to find out. When we come back, Tina says that she'll listen to what I have to give. So, break. A special thanks to Dr. Charles Sophie. Thank you for
You're welcome.
being here. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. On a lighter note, I recently threw back to a time as a big wave surfer in Galveston, Texas. Somebody dug this up and put it on my Instagram. I had just come in on a big wave. Well, actually, it was about 12 inches. And I rode it for 8 seconds, if you count the falling down part. What I want to point out is that I did have hair at one time. It was fast leaving. I think I was 17 there. That may be the last picture in the wild with me having hair. So stay social with me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I do read what you guys put. You never know what blast from my past I might reveal next. We'll see you next time.
SH Patch still for you.